Good morning, class. Come on in and have a seat, please.
What goes into fixing a glitch in a video game program?
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
But what'll happen if you take 3 or only 1?
We are go for launch.
And how does NASA know exactly where their space shuttles are going?
2, 1. We have liftoff.
And all of these questions involve algebra. Hello, and welcome to Algebra 1. We'll be looking at algebra uses in several different careers and life experiences, from the doctor's office to outer space. We'll work
Today we're going to use our epic algebra, so I see that everyone brought their computers. Our lesson today is going to be Module 4, Lesson 1. We're going to actually interpret relationships on the Cartesian plane. Now, if Cartesian plane is a new vocabulary word for you, you may be familiar with the coordinate plane. As you log on, we're going to listen to about the first 15 seconds of the lesson introduction, which will also give you real-world examples.
It's not easy finding your way around town without a map of some sort. Just imagine how difficult it is to navigate in space. NASA scientists can't even begin to plan for a shuttle mission without well-mapped coordinates for each and every step of the way. All of their maps
All right, students, before we play the lecture, remember we're going to have to be familiar with the vocabulary words. Cartesian plane down through origin. They are on your epic. You are responsible for putting them in your spiral, but I want to point out the first one and the last one. Cartesian plane, again, 2 number lines that intersect at right angles, and I want to go down to the last one, which is your origin, just as a reminder. The origin is the intersection between your x and y axis, and the point is 0, 0. So you are responsible for the vocabulary words, and we're going to now go ahead into the lecture. Remember the read it.
In this lecture, Professor Berger will describe the Cartesian plane and discuss how to plot points on the plane.
But number 1, listen to where Professor Berger talks about plotting points at quadrants, and see and recognize those vocabulary words as we begin them.
Okay, well, now I wanted to quickly give you a real run-through of plotting points on a graph where you have an x-axis and a y-axis. Well, here's some axes right here. So you can see that the horizontal one we usually call x, and the vertical one we call y. And we number them in a standard way. Where they intersect is the point that's 0 on both of these number lines. And then as we march off this way, this become positive values. This would be 1, 2, 3.
All right, class, as we finish the lecture, I want to remind you of 2 things. Number 1, you have the lecture notes, the hard copy for the students that prefer, again, a written text of that lecture. And number 2, as you're working on your assignment tonight, remember that you can go back and listen to that lecture as many times as you want to. I suggest you go back over the examples and take notes as you're listening, and then review, of course, the vocabulary words in the notes as well. So we're going to now do a quick check for understanding, and we're going to do this as a group exercise. We're going to do the check for understanding first, and then of course the assignment will be something that you'll be responsible for homework. So as we all click on our start button, yes, question. I mentioned origin is a very important vocabulary word. Which ordered pair represents the origin? A, B, C, or D? What's the correct answer, class?
C.
C. Okay. A little trickier question. Which ordered pair has an x-coordinate of a -1? Now you have to know which is your x, which is your y when you have your ordered pair. A, B, C, or D?
B.
B. We have a vote for B. All righty. As we finish these, we're going to hit the submit button. And let's see how we did. Are you sure? Yes. All right. Number 1. Very good, class. 0, 0 is your origin. Which ordered pair has a coordinate of a -1? All right, let's review and summarize what we've learned today. Our objectives, of course, was interpreting relationships on the coordinate plane.
So are you clear on the point of origin and where the x and y axes are? If any of these terms confuse you, take a minute to review them before moving forward. You need to be totally comfortable with the terminology so we can get started with the locations and types of points in each quadrant of the graph.
The other thing that I want to make sure that we know is our homework assignment. On your EPIC, plotting points on the Cartesian plane, your assignment. Again, the read it is there for those students who prefer to have the auditory piece.
In this assignment, you will plot points on the Cartesian plane. After you have finished, submit the document to the instructor.
But as a reminder, your document, all of your assignments are on your EPIC. We're simply going to open up. The graphs are included. It's going to be practice plotting points. You're also going to have some identification of quadrants. So tonight when you get home, log on, complete the assignment, and then of course simply submit it to me electronically. We'll review it in class tomorrow. We'll look at grades, and we'll have again a short quiz included on your EPIC. All right, class, I did look at the results from the progress monitor that we took yesterday, as well as those of you who turned your assignment in or submitted that from homework last night. And basically, I'm very pleased with the results. According to the exam analysis, about 70% of us passed, but because there were only 6 questions, you may have missed just 1 or 2 and not done as well as you should have. The one question that I do want to point out is question number 4, because most of us are still missing that quadrant question. Professor Berger went over the quadrants in the lecture, and it was included in your notes. So I do want you to go back, look in your notes, or listen to the lecture. Those are your 2 choices. I'd like for you to retake this progress monitor if you missed 1 or 2 questions, and at least try to achieve 100%. And then, of course, 2 of you missed question 6. What is the name of the horizontal axis on a coordinate plane? I know horizontal and vertical is sometimes something that you confuse, but Professor Berger went over it several times yesterday, and again, the x-axis and your y-axis are vocabulary words. So for those of you that did not make 100, I would like for you to retake it, resubmit it to me, and at least attempt to get that 100% before we proceed on with the lesson.